Now I want to get on here real quick and I just want to talk about what toxic positivity is, how to identify it, and how to get rid of it. But before we get into that, you already know what we fucking with right here. You know what I'm saying? Cashapp in the description, link tree in the description, all of my socials in the description, go crazy. That being said, what is toxic positivity? Toxic positivity is the act of always trying to remain positive in a negative or very tumultuous situation. Don't get toxic positivity mixed up with stoicism. Stoicism is the act of staying calm and remaining stable and tranquil within the face of danger. Okay, toxic positivity is undermining and degrading how you feel in exchange for trying to feel positive. You're not allowing your emotional field to run free. You're not allowing spirit to flow through you because you're always trying to stay within one vibration. You're trying to always stay within one frequency. You're always trying to give off one energy, and that's just simply not the case. You can't do that in this life. You're a human, you're a being, an entity who was made biologically and psychologically to feel all emotions, okay? Why? Because as we stated in many of the videos previous, that an emotion is just energy in motion. Staying within one frequency can be actually very counterproductive, whereas you're trying to stay happy and your body is trying to experience all the other emotions. Yes, as people, we love to be positive. Positivity is equated to happiness, okay? Giving, caring, it makes us feel good. Of course we want to be positive, but we're not supposed to feel positive all the time because where there's a yin, there's a yang. Where there's a sun, there's a moon. So for the amount of times that you feel positive, you're going to feel negative, quote unquote, as many times. And in this life, it's up to us that we learn how to navigate our emotional field. See, our emotional field is very important and it allows us to grow. Why? Because growth pains don't stop. If you're not feeling, then you're not experiencing. The problem with people is that as people, we like to think our emotions. We don't ever feel our emotions. And this leads to us being within a very survival mindset. The goal of life is to thrive. But because we're always trying to stay toxically positive without even realizing it many times, we get ourselves into a state of survival. Your job, what you owe to yourself, is to give yourself the opportunity to experience all emotions and all energies, all vibrations being felt. Think about it like this, right? Playing video games. Would you rather play one video game your whole entire life, or would you like to experience a whole different genre of video games that you never knew existed? You want to experience all of these other emotions and all these other games in this context because that's what's fun. And if we only remained within one frequency our whole entire life, it would be boring as hell. Yes, feeling bad doesn't feel good, but we're supposed to feel bad so that we can appreciate the good times that much more. Your goal is to remain positive within a negative situation, but allowing yourself to feel all of the negative emotions. As I said in the previous video, I can allow myself to feel all these negative emotions such as anger, sadness, grief, fear, etc., but from a high vibrational standpoint, because this is myself not being toxically positive. I'm happy internally, but I feel bad, I feel sad, I feel the energy of grievance, and I'm allowed to do that because I'm a human. Believe it or not, toxic positivity or always trying to remain positive within a negative situation can actually lead to depression. Now I say this because undermining and degrading how you actually feel is not paying homage to your emotional field. When we try to remain positive all the time, it's as if our negative emotions are being overridden with positivity and we can't even allow ourselves to feel or to even assess how we feel, even attempt to assess how we feel. Toxic positivity actually leads to depression, okay? When we don't pay homage to our emotional field, this can lead us to feeling invalidated. It makes us to feel as though all the negative times that we go through are for nothing, or that they don't mean nothing, or they're not shit. Or it leads us to feel ungrateful. And when things go unnoticed, it makes us feel as people like we're not appreciated. Like these negative times aren't appreciated. This is why it's very important to be balanced within the scales of feeling negative and feeling positive. Now, it might get a little bit dark, but I'm speaking to my melanated people. You know, as a kid, right, where let's just say your mom or dad would beat you and shit like that, and it would say, stop crying before I give you something to cry about. That's them trying to enforce onto you toxic positivity, because they know, or you know, that you're on the ground crying or that you feel like shit. But now you have to force yourself to be toxically positive only to fit this narrative that you're happy, to create this false picture that you're happy, when in actuality, as a little kid, you may feel happy, but in the moment, you feel like shit. Why? Because you were just made to feel as such. Toxic positivity is very dangerous and something that should be identified as soon as possible. How do we identify toxic positivity? We can identify toxic positivity through analyzing and realizing how we feel on a day-to-day basis. If you're the type of person who's artificially remaining positive because you don't want to feel negative or you don't want to allow yourself to feel negative, that is toxic positivity. Don't sweep your emotions under the rug. It's like a pot. You can only control however much water is in the pot before it overflows, okay? And emotions are the same way. Your emotions are representative of the hot water in the pot. If you don't turn off the burner or figure out your emotions in a way that is positive and conducive to your success, then the water is going to overflow and it's going to destroy and mess up everything, and it might even burn you. Ask yourself, am I a toxic positive person? Analyze your emotional field. Journal. I made a journaling video already. Go ahead and watch that video. I'll drop a part 2 if y'all want. But what I'm trying to say is, allow yourself to be negative from a positive standpoint. Don't override your negativity with positivity for the sake of you not wanting to feel. You're a human. Relax. Breathe. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Repeat the affirmation, I am allowed to feel my emotions from a positive standpoint. I am allowed to be negative as long as it doesn't affect anybody else's mental or spiritual space. Okay? We have to reprogram our subconscious mind and our conscious mind in order to be more successful. And that all starts with your emotional field. Because what we have to realize is that our spiritual field, emotional field, and mental field are all one and the same thing. If your mental health is messed up, your spiritual health is messed up in return. Allow yourself to feel your emotions. Don't think your emotions. Now, obviously, it's very important to be logical sometimes, but it is very important to be emotional just as much as you are logical. Use your left brain just as much as your right brain, and your right brain just as much as your left brain. But with that being said, I love myself to you. Again, you already know how we come in. Jacob Global 1 on Instagram and things like that. I'm going crazy. I'm in my ideal reality. We're going to keep on rocking out. But with that being said, we're going to rock out. I love myself through you. Have a beautiful, blessed, productive, and successful day.